Ghost Academy by E.C. Farrell. This dark conversation, barely punctured by hope, follows me like an unhappy little cloud as Rafe and I search out our first class. Discovering your unfinished business is near the front of the building, but I drag my feet a little, dread and worry sitting heavy on me. I have a dumb question, Rafe says, slowing down to keep pace with me. What's that? You okay? I rake my hair away from my face, then let it slide free again. I'm easy breezy, just missing my memories, which makes finishing unfinished business a little bit hard. And, also missing my body, which could mean that at any second I become an insane poltergeist and start a haunty rampage. But I'm fine. Tears sting my eyes and I stop walking completely. It's a fact I know without question that when I get frustrated or angry or overwhelmed, I cry. There's no stopping the embarrassing breakdown from coming. I try to swallow past the lump of emotion in my throat, but it doesn't work. I duck my head. The last thing I want is to cry in front of Rafe. But instead of doing the normal awkward dude thing, he stops and turns to face me head on. I'm sorry. That's terrifying. I don't know what I can do, but I'll try to help if I can. Maybe 20 questions could jiggle something loose. His small smile almost brings that dimple onto his cheek. I sniff and wipe my cheeks dry. Thanks, but only if it doesn't keep you from finishing yours. Pain and panic flicker behind Rafe's eyes, but he covers them up fast. Well, let's get in there and see if they can help us both figure stuff out, huh? So many secrets. I lock away another question as we glide into the classroom. Like my dorm, it's way bigger than I initially expected. One side is full of desks facing a podium, but the other is covered with yoga mats. Each of them is spaced out in pairs with a small pot of incense placed in between them. Winter sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows along the back wall, yet another aspect to the school that's killing the spooky vibe. This whole scenario seems slightly less terrifying than combat. At least I'll have corpse pose nailed already. I snicker at my own internal joke as Rafe and I find a pair of empty desks in the middle. The second we settle, a line of teachers files into the room. All but one drift toward the mats. They sit cross-legged and light the incense while the lone teacher floats to the podium in front of us. He's a tall man with white scruff covering his red jumper skin. A pair of glasses perches on the very tip of his nose. Welcome, students, to discovering your unfinished business. For those of you who are new, my name is Mr. Klingler. You will spend the first half of class with me while your peers meet with their assigned healers. Most everyone moves. When they're gone, I'm left alone with Rafe and a girl with curls and the most perfect taupe skin I've ever seen. All three of us glance at each other, breaking into quiet laughter. It's not really funny so much as it's mildly awkward being the only ones left behind. Though I guess if I have to be stuck solo with anybody, Rafe's not a bad option. And this other girl, newbies, got a band together. Now before we get started, let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. No gimmicks or anything like that. You don't have to tell us how you died or share who you were before, or your favorite books or activities. Mr. Klingler smiles a little. He has a bit of an underbite that gives his face a touch more character than I noticed before. Though of course, if you'd like to share all of that, you're welcome to. The girl with the curls waves her fingers. I'm Yasmin Willis, and I like long walks in the moonlight after a storm. She chuckles and Rafe and I join her. I highly approve of that sense of humor. Rafe follows her lead. Rafe Warren, I like to draw and pick locks. Don't worry, Mr. Klingler, I won't try to steal any tests or anything. Though now I think about it, that probably wouldn't be an issue in this class. With a snort, I raise my hand next. I'm Billy Martin, and I have amnesia, so based on breakfast this morning, I like bacon, and Sudoku and crossword puzzles. Yasmin laughs again, but it mutates into an ah. She frowns, as if the afterlife alone wasn't mystery enough. An exciting one for sure, a wild night and a new road. But without your memory, that's a full-on tragedy. It's not great. But we will help you figure it all out, Mr. Klingler says. He hovers toward the whiteboard at the back of the classroom. Now this will be just a quick overview, and then you three can meet with your healers along with the rest of the class. I'd like to start with a question. What, if anything, do you know about unfinished business? My mouth starts moving before I can even think. It usually starts with priority. Whichever one is the most pressing is the one you have to deal with first. Until you've dealt with that, you will always be drawn back to the place you're required to be. I blink, shocked at my own words as Mr. Klingler nods, and Rafe and Yasmin stare. That's very good, Miss Martin. Mr. Klingler slides his hands into the pockets of his khakis. Did you happen to be a witch with medium abilities when you were alive? Yes, I press a hand to my mouth. I did. I was a medium. I remember. With this realization comes images of a shimmering ghost at the foot of a bed. My bed. Her thin braids float around her small face, the pink butterfly clips on the ends of each clacking together, given an odd sort of afterlife of their own by death. She twists the bottom of her shirt between her hands. I clutch my pillow to my chest, eyes wide. Hi. I'm Billy. Lila, can we talk? Yasmin claps, breaking through the life flash. Rafe grins. Nice. Another mystery solved and a step away from getting twisted. Mr. Klingler frowns. Are all of you concerned about the Xers? I exchange a look with Rafe and Yasmin, then pinch the air with a forefinger and thumb. Just a tiny bit. It's a little stressful to have people out there who can turn you into giant rage beans. Yeah, what's with that, by the way? Rafe asks. What's their damage that they want more destructive creatures in the world? Don't we have enough drama as it is? Mr. Klingler smooths a hand over a stubble on his chin. It is, as are most things in this world, complex. To understand Xers, you must realize they believe they are doing a good thing. They believe all ghosts are trapped here against their will, and that when they burn bones or attachment objects with their spells, they are releasing spirits into the life beyond. More than that, they believe they are protecting the living from hauntings. What they don't understand is that their actions are compounding the problem. So, they're extremists? Yasmin asks. In a word, yes, Mr. Klingler nods. Many of them are highly intelligent, particularly their leaders, and a great majority of those in this sect have family histories of ghost encounters gone wrong. The dead are, of course, much like the living, and not all are benevolent. Some with ill intent have created many great problems for the rest of us. I grimace. One person ruins it for everybody else. Mr. Klingler nods. It's understandable that you would be concerned. The threat is imminent, but Locklear takes steps to ensure your safety. The best thing you can do while you're here is to take care of your unfinished business so you can move on peacefully. If you can do that, you should have no reason to fear. I grimace, unless of course your body is missing along with your memories. Mr. Klingler sits on the edge of one of the desks. In the same way, discovering your unfinished business can be complex. Often you'll be trapped in the location of the most pressing issue, as you were, Rafe. Rafe stiffens up and his eyes drop. He slips something out of his pocket, a bike lock. He spins the dial back and forth with a thumb, muttering something, probably the combination. Maybe it's his own way of dealing with thought spirals or anxiety or guilt. But if there are complications, Mr. Klingler continues, sounds like having no memory of your life before death. I lift my brows. Yes, and don't worry, the healer should be able to help you recover that as well. Or at the very least, help remove damage that is blocking your ability to reach it. Why? Rafe's voice cracks and the lock clicks again. Why would one piece of unfinished business drag you to that specific location, but another one not? Again, Mr. Klingler strokes his chin and sighs. Unfinished business can be a tricky thing. The timing is often finicky. Finicky, Rafe swears under his breath. But what if a person's life is in danger? How could the timing be finicky? He makes air quotes around that word on something like that. That pain from before floods his eyes. He clenches the lock until the tendons stand out on his knuckles. Part of me wants to run out of the room, to back away from the torment buckling the air around him. I even scoot to the edge of my chair without fully realizing it. Instead of running, I cling to the desk and dig my voice out of somewhere deep in my chest. Maybe that means that whoever's in danger is safe at the moment. Rafe pulls in a slow breath, lets it out, then drags a weak smile onto his face. Yeah, maybe you're right. I really hope you're right. In spite of his best efforts to look okay, there's not much energy in his voice. Your friend has a point, Mr. Klingler says. If you haven't pulled toward this person, then it's doubtful they're in imminent danger. Either that, or they're not your unfinished business at all. Which brings me to defining what that business is if you're not drawn toward it. Rafe shoves a hand through his hair, then rests his chin on a palm. He looks deflated, defeated. Worry clearly buzzes just beneath the surface of the calm expression that's now settled onto his face. It's so intense I can almost feel it mingling with my own stress. I focus my attention back to Mr. Klingler. I've got my own business to figure out. Hopefully, with it will come the rest of my memories, and I won't be stuck for an eternity with no identity, untethered to anyone or anything, always at risk of losing what little I have left. When I finally sit across from my healer, I'm torn between excitement and terror. As I cross my legs, I notice for the first time the silence where my heartbeat should be. I press a palm to my chest. My head spins at the stillness, and I have to fight to keep my breathing even. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Mrs. Alvarez, a middle-aged woman with short brown hair and a chin dimple, asks. Majorly, almost as terrifying as being dead but not remembering why. Miss Alvarez smiles. It's the understanding kind, but she manages to pull it off without looking pitying. That is also quite jarring. It's possible I can help you, but I don't want to get your hopes up. Often it just takes time for memories to come back. Great, more patience and waiting. No big deal unless, of course, you're not sure where you left your physical body and it could get destroyed at any moment by extremists. But sure, I'll be patient. I play with one of my shoelaces. Sorry guys, my stomach's growling. Thanks for being honest. I mean, it sucks, but that's better than false hope. I find false hope slows the process. Miss Alvarez's smile widens. Lie down for me. It's easier if you're relaxed as possible. Couldn't hurt. I shrug and ease onto my stomach. The mat is actually pretty comfortable. I'll have to concentrate if I don't want to fall asleep, unless that makes things easier on Miss Alvarez. Out of the side of my eye, I search for Rafe. He's in a corner on the other end of the room. Absolute torment warps his face as he rests his forehead on one of his hands. His healer strokes his back, whispering something, eyes closed, presumably reading his aura. My quiet chest aches for him. Whoever he believes is his unfinished business must be close to him and in possible danger. Like me, though, he's obviously missing vital information to help them. Hopefully the healers can help both of us. Miss Martin, I I know you're worried about your friend, but I'm going to need you to relax so I can get a good read. I wince and shut my eyes. Right, sorry, I am relaxing. Miss Alvarez places her hand on the small of my back. Like every touch now that I'm a ghost, it spreads cool waves through my entire body. Or spirit, I guess. My brain again tries to send me back into a thought spiral about where my actual body is, but I rein it in. As I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, Miss Alvarez murmurs, "Better, much better." "Have you ever worked on a ghost who lost their memory?" I ask. "I'll answer all of your questions after I'm done with your reading, Miss Martin," she says in a soothing voice. "But to settle your mind, yes, I have." When she doesn't expound, I have to restrain a second thought spiral. It's great that she's worked with someone else with amnesia, but was she successful? Did they ever get back their memories? Or was this other ghost Haya's roommate? I'm starting to think more and more that Aaron somehow got twisted, and the reason no one is telling me what happened is because they don't want to scare me. But their silence is worse. Kind of like how not seeing the monster in a movie is scarier than if it's constantly on screen. My imagination takes off with various horrific scenarios, all probably much more terrifying than the reality. Truth pulls the fake monster mask off to reveal the much less terrifying reality underneath. Right now, I really need this to happen. Miss Martin, I want you to take some slow breaths and focus on a calming sentence. Anxiety is completely clouding your aura. Sorry, got a suggestion for that calming sentence. Keep it simple, something like, "I'm okay, I'm safe." I shimmy a little to get more comfortable and try this phrase, repeating the first part when I breathe in, and the second part when I breathe out. It does help a bit. After a few minutes, I'm having to fight off sleep again. Thankfully, Miss Alvarez taps my shoulder before I start snoring and asks me to sit up. "What's the verdict?" Miss Alvarez doesn't exactly frown, but her jaw tightens and something flickers behind her eyes that doesn't look at all promising. "I'll need a few more sessions before I can give you the full diagnosis. By the end of the week, I should know more. In the meantime, pay attention to any life flashes that come your way. They can be frightening, but try to lean into them. Focus on anything that might root you to your past. We'll figure all of this out. You have no reason